Okay. We have on the bench here a Dressmaker Space Saver 100. This poor beast, imported by Leon Trading Corporation in New York, New York. Looks a lot like the Kenmore Mini Ultra and the IKEA sewing machine. It's, you know, I think older. I don't know exactly. But this machine, oh, it must be older because the back of it is cast. So plastic front, cast back frame. This machine was dropped. It was in a box, and somebody went to pick the box up, the bottom fell out, and the machine smashed onto the floor, which is why it looks like such a wreck. But I'm going to see if I can get it put back together, because unfortunately, because of the advancements in stupidly cheap sewing machine technology, this machine, even though it was a cheap, low quality kind of garbage machine when it was new, is now hundreds of times better than a sewing machine you can get for less than $50 today. So we'll get a look at it and see here. Obviously dropped on the floor, so first things first, we'll try to get the front cover completely off so that we can realign it all. There we go. 2 screws under the back side of the handle here. I have a feeling that at least one of these is connected to the... there we go. I loosened that, and the whole... See that? The whole front panel was able to realign itself. So this must be the screw holding that front cover on. I don't know what this gold tone screw is, but we'll leave the gold tone screw in place, because that seems... Yep. Oh, and that screw is all that's left holding this cover on. There we go. Alright. So, since we got this cover out, we'll set that aside and give it a clean. And then... Otherwise, this machine... It's got a standard style clutch knob on it, so get that clutch knob engaged. Give it a little turn here. Oh, the needle is completely bent there. Should have pulled the needle out right away, but there. And turning it, it feels just fine. So I am gonna pull this a little further apart, and okay, that's clever. They've got just a hook here to pull the light fixture down so you can unscrew the light bulb without taking the cover off. This bulb looks burnt out, and then you can, when you get the new bulb in, just slide it back up into place. That's actually a pretty nice feature for a machine that was so cheap when it was new. Well, it's got a built-in buttonhole. Otherwise, it's a basic zigzag, and then it's got the triple stitch and a blind hem. So it's not got a lot of features for a machine of its age, and there is quite a bit of goo in this. So somebody was using it pretty hard, which means it must have been adequate for something. When it dropped, there's 2 screws here that used to be fastening the front cover on. So we'll have to take these screws out and Yeah. Question is, do I try to just super glue this piece back in place? Or, I think I'm going to glue these pieces back in place with just a dab of super glue, because they just have to hold the cover on. The cover doesn't have to be, like, it doesn't carry anything, so it's not under a lot of stress. So I will glue these two tabs back in place with super glue, and then the machine should be able to get the cover back on. While it's open, I'll take a second to put some more grease in on this cam and lube the machine up, just because it's open and I can get at that. But honestly, I'm pretty pleased with the condition this machine is in. It's having been dropped, it's in pretty good shape. It does look like there's a spring spot here, and I don't know what that spring would have been connected to, or why. You know, I don't necessarily think there should be a spring on this spring spot. Okay. Well, we'll give it a lube and fix that front cover and test it out and see if it runs. And if it runs, then we'll see about what to do next. There's a couple cracks in a plastic piece in here, because it's got a plastic cam that pushes a lever, this lever in here. That plastic cam pushes the lever that runs the feed dogs forward and back. And we'll take a look at how badly cracked that is, and maybe I'll put a dab of super glue in the crack. But you know, those cams like that, making them out of plastic isn't a big deal as long as they don't crack, because they're not, again, under a lot of strain. The modern machines where they're putting all the plastic is they've figured out how to, you know, make plastic hooks, and the hook interacts with the needle and also rubs thread a lot, so plastic hooks wear out before you even have a chance to learn how to sew. And when the needle, if you get any needle strikes, they get all deformed, and then they, you know, have to get repaired or replaced, which is a huge pain in the butt. And then a lot of machines have plastic gear cams that can fail, and they've replaced all of this with plastic. So even this bell crank right here that takes all the force of the motor and is supposed to transmit it into the needle bar, this piece will be plastic, and that's too much stress for the plastics they want to put in this place, and they end up bending or breaking. If you jam the needle in anything, that piece will then just break. So, like I said, this machine was cheap when it was new, but it now looks a lot nicer because they've figured out how to make even cheaper sewing machines.